How's it going, everyone? It's not smoking, it's called sage. It's called sage. White sage. You burn it to clear the etheric energy of negativity. More, Abba. I don't smoke. Bad for your lungs. I prefer breath. Hey everyone, how's it going? Hey Mary. Hey Sophie. Hey Priscin, Katerina, I'm Freddy, greetings, thank you very much. Almighty Hash, shalom, peace and greetings, thank you very much. Daryl, how's it going? Or Natural, how's it going? Litchfield, Joe, how's it going? Thank you very much for joining in. Let's see who's going to join us today. Peace. Before I get started, let me just connect with spirit. And when I mean spirit, I mean divine Holy Spirit. And it's very simple to do. Breath is spirit. Life force energy is spirit. Kundalini life force energy, chi, prana. So through breath work, we work with life force energy, prana. Lady Lavoka, Brit, much love. Thank you very much for joining in. So breath is one of the key techniques that I teach, breath work. To connect with your soul, connect with your spirit. Remember, your soul knows everything that you need to know in this lifetime. You may have seen some reels that I've done recently about connecting with unconscious intelligence versus intellect. We have a world which is addicted to knowledge. Now, don't get me wrong, because our minds have been conditioned to work that way, we now have to gain knowledge to understand how to work without knowledge. So you need to understand the difference between intellect and intelligence, and I've just done a reel about this. Lady Lavoka, hello, thank you very much for joining in. Mafia, Lisa. So intellect is a very different thing. Now, because from when we are children, we learn this way of being as human beings. Now remember, we're human beings. Okay, now let me do some breath work and I will connect with spirit, because what I use when I talk is unconscious intelligence, because I just turn up. How do I know what to say? Well, when I'm not thinking about it. Well, you do it all the time when you have conversations. You don't think about every word you say, right? So when I teach, I just done an event over the weekend, Demigod's Awakening, 5 hours of speaking. Do I write down every word I'm going to say? Of course not. I don't need to, because I use unconscious intelligence. Unconscious intelligence is where the power is, not intellect. Conscious intellect is the disease of the human race. So spirit, connect with your soul. Connect with spirit, connect with God, connect with the divine. Teach you everything you need to know. Your unconscious mind is in control right now. You're not giving yourself a heartbeat. You're not pumping blood through your veins. You're not saying keep me alive with conscious effort. You're not keeping your body running with conscious intellect. No, because you don't need to. Because unconscious intelligence looks after that. Unconscious intelligence is what runs your body. So you can connect with it more by connecting with breath, because breath you normally breathe unconsciously. So when you take conscious control of breath, which is normally an unconscious thing, you connect with your unconscious intelligence, which leads to superconsciousness. So you have conscious intellect, then you have the unconscious mind, which is already there. It's running the show. Most human beings are running on autopilot for the most part. That's why you can't control your emotions mostly. You can't control your thoughts mostly. Because most of your thoughts are not conscious thoughts, they're unconscious thoughts. So when I connect with breath, I'm taking control of something which is normally unconscious. Now I bring it up through the Sushumna channel, which is the central channel, which Kundalini energy actually rises up through all the chakras. The reason it makes that noise is because I put my tongue at the roof of the mouth, which splits the breath in two, the Ida Nadi and the Pingala Nadi, divine feminine and divine masculine energy. That's why your nostrils are split in two. Well, when you do your breath work through the mouth, you've got to put your tongue at the roof of the mouth to get the same effect. Otherwise, you just got one hole. It's not the same. So when you do breath work through the mouth, it's absolutely critical that you do it with the tongue at the roof of the mouth. That's why it makes that noise. And what it does, it changes the intensity of the life force energy. It makes it more intense, therefore it makes it more powerful. I much more prefer this method than nostril breathing, because nostril breathing is great for relaxation, and I do teach that. Still life force energy, it's still prana, but if you want a quicker effect and a more intense effect of life force energy and more intense effect of Kundalini life force energy rising, it's much more powerful through the breath, through the mouth. When I get enough breath in, the cerebral spine fluid travels up the spine and I feel pressure at the back of the head. This activates the pituitary and the pineal gland. Then I hold my breath. One at least 20 to 30 seconds. Now, I do push for as long as I can with the breath retention, because the longer you hold, the more you connect to your higher consciousness and unconscious intelligence. So the unconscious mind is the gateway to your soul, God, and your higher consciousness. So this is why on my recent reels, I've just posted up, go and watch them later if you get a chance, I was just touching on this subject. And as I was doing those reels, because what often happens with me is I meditate and I get intuitive guidance. Intuition, look at the word, intuition. It's got the word tuition in it. So it means you're being taught from within. Who are you being taught from? When you use intuition, you're being taught from God, the divine. Now, God and the divine is not some airy fairy thing that you just need to believe in and have faith in. You can actually connect with it and feel it and use the life force energy from God. Use the wisdom, true wisdom from God, the divine. Everybody has access to it, but you got to get out the way. Stop relying on external knowledge. Stop reading too many books. Stop looking at too many sources of information, because that will just take you away from your own power. Because the power is within you. God and the divine created you. God is the ocean. We are the waves in the ocean. We are not separate from the ocean, because the waves cannot be separate from the ocean. They have to be a part of the ocean. But the ocean creates the waves. When you're no longer the wave, therefore no longer the human being, and you pass over from this lifetime, you become part of the ocean again. But what you got to do in this life is remember you are the ocean, pretending to be a wave. So God has manifested himself as me, you, all the plants, the trees, and everything in existence. So you are born with unconscious intelligence because it runs your body from the day you are born. And actually up until the age of 7 years old, you don't really start using your intellectual mind, and that doesn't really take over, because most people, they go to school, they learn how to use the intellectual mind. Now, indigenous cultures, people that are not born into like the Western world and our way of thinking, are quite naturally connected to their higher selves. So we have to unlearn all the bullshit that we've been taught. And we have to unlearn the way we use our minds. Meaning relying on learning, relying on external knowledge, reading too many books. Now there's nothing wrong with books. I do read books. But I read a few lines, a few pages, or a page now and again when God, the divine, guides me to it. I'm on Instagram, on social media. I just hit like 26,000 followers on Instagram here in a year and a half. I have 102,000 followers on Facebook. Now, I never used to use social media until after enlightenment, because God guided me to use it. But I don't consume content. I create content. Because I'm a co-creator, not a consumer. We have a world that is dysfunctional. Human beings have become dysfunctional because they're relying on external sources. They become consumers rather than co-creators and one with God. God is a creator. You are a creator. Now, yes, people learn from me and I teach them the ways, but I focus much more on practice. Because practice guides them to their soul and God and the divine. I only show them the way, and the way shows them their way. So unconscious intelligence is running your body. When you go to sleep at night, you do not use conscious intellect to stay alive and wake up the next day. You are not using conscious intellect right now to listen and take in information. You are not using conscious intellect right now saying, give me a heartbeat, pump some blood through my veins. Your unconscious intelligence is running the show. The illusion is, because of the dysfunctional minds of the human race, is that they have to try to control everything. So when I do like my Qigong, you guys have probably seen me doing my Qigong movement. I'm feeling Qi the electromagnetic life force energy which fills the empty space here. The empty space is not empty. It connects everyone and everything in existence. God, the divine, is in the empty space. God is everywhere. So when I breathe my breath, life force energy, prana, comes from the empty space. Can I see it? No. But it keeps me alive. When I do qigong, can I see the qi? Yes, with my third eye, but not with these eyes, not with these two eyes. But that's because I've trained to see it, and I train my clients to see how to see using the third eye. So you can see qi, you can see life force energy. But firstly, you got to understand it moves in spirals. It moves in waves. That's why when you look at the ocean, there's waves in the ocean. That's why you look at a galaxy, it's a spiral. You look at your DNA, it's a spiral. You look at a hurricane from above, it's a spiral. Look at a snail shell, it's a spiral because the divine form is a spiral and a wave. Kundalini energy, when it rises up, unspirals. It's a vortex of energy that spirals up. So I had a question here. Lady Lavoka, how did you feel after your Kundalini awakening? How did it transform you? Well, firstly, the method that I used was Qigong. And with Qigong, you use breath work and movement. So you use a combination of breathing, breath work, and movement to feel life force energy. So what I was practicing doing was bringing life force energy, and this is what I teach on my events, like the Demigod's Awakening event we just done this weekend. That's what I was teaching everyone, and we was doing the practice. So my next event, the Superhuman Activation event, is going to be on the 21st, 22nd of January. That's going to be a whole weekend event where we're going to do the practice, but we're going to do shadow work and healing on day 1 and Kundalini awakening and light body activation on day 2. The link is in my bio if you want to get more information. Superhuman Activation event. You actually get the Energy Mastery course included with that, which is a 10-hour online course and a 30-day action plan. So it's all practical. Without practice, it's useless. Like, if you're not practicing the methods for awakening your Kundalini, for connecting with your soul, connecting with spirit, connecting with God, connecting with the divine, then what's the point? Like, people need to get out of this mindset where they read. Like, reading knowledge will get you nowhere. It will just fill your mind with information. And information is useless unless you put it into practice. Wisdom comes from putting knowledge into practice. So the only thing knowledge is useful for is to know what to do. But the most important thing is that you do what you're supposed to do. Otherwise it's useless. The truth is high. Higher still is truthful living. As my dad wrote at the back of that book, The Opening of the Third Eye by Dr. Douglas Baker. I've shared this story before. That book fell off my bookshelf 3 times when I was a teenager, when I was 12, when I was 14, and when I was 15. And I picked it up, and I've been reading it since. And on the back of the book, my dad wrote, the truth is high, higher still is truthful living. Now, interestingly, my dad's name was Satnam. And in Sanskrit, Satnam means truth. So it's a very profound story. It's why I'm here doing what I do, because it's a part of my journey. I've been molded to do this. Ever since I was born, it's been a part of my journey, my path. Everyone has a path and a journey that's unfolding. You just need to understand that path that is unfolding for you and flow with it. The Tao, in Taoism, spelled T-A-O but pronounced Tao, is the way of the universe. The universe is unfolding naturally. You didn't make a business plan to be born. You're not going to make a business plan when you die. It's going to happen without your conscious effort. Just like when you was born, it's going to happen the same when you die. No conscious effort involved. It's all unconscious intelligence. The intelligence of God and the divine is unfolding naturally. Now we can be conscious co-creators in this world, but we're only going to be flowing with the way if we're in alignment with the way. Now naturally, if this is a lifetime for you to achieve that, you'll be guided to it anyway. But you've got to use intuition, inner guidance. Intuition means you're being taught from within. So everything I do is intuition. Like this, what am I doing now? Am I thinking? No. How can I be thinking about what to say? Now this is why you get the leaders, like the presidents, the prime ministers and stuff, they and ah a lot because they have written speeches because they're conscious intellectual thinkers. I don't and ah because I use unconscious intelligence. I don't need to think to speak. I'm in flow with the way of the universe, in flow with the way of God and the divine. So how did I feel after my Kundalini awakening? Well, like a god, a demigod, not God, the divine, because that is the creator. I'm a co-creator. So you feel like a god. You feel like a living god. That's why my event over the weekend was called Demigod's Awakening, because I know how it makes you feel, and people got a taste of that on this weekend. The free event that I just done. The recording is on my YouTube now. The link is in my bio, so you can watch it. It's nearly 4 hours long. It was supposed to be 3 hours, but unconscious intelligence, I've got some questions, so it took a bit longer. But you know, the last 45 minutes is the practice. For last hour is the main practice. That's when people really felt it. But it was a taster of what it feels like to be a demigod. So what I mean by demigod is, it doesn't mean you're God, because there is the divine. But we, as I said, God is the ocean. We're the waves in the ocean, so we are a part of God. So we can allow the energy of God, the divine, to flow through us. So we can at least feel his power. We can at least feel his love. It's love. It's not he or she. So I often refer to it as he or it or that or whatever. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. God doesn't care what you call it. It doesn't have a name. It's the source of life force energy. It's the source of enlightenment. It's the source of true wisdom. It's the source of intelligence. Intelligence is not intellect. As I said, human minds have become dysfunctional because they believe they need intellect. Because when you go to school, this is why your left brain becomes more active than your right brain. The right brain is more artistic, more creative. But as we go through the schooling system, we go to school, then people go to university, what they do is they are molded into human beings which need to learn how to do everything before they can do it. So, and you know, when I do Qigong, I'm not thinking about what to do. What I'm doing is I'm flowing with the Qi, the life force energy, which is already flowing. All I'm doing is connecting with it so I can get in flow with it, because it's already flowing. So when I do my movements, people sometimes ask, how do you know what movement to do? Well, I don't know. That's the whole point. You don't need to know. That's the whole point. You don't need to know. That's exactly my point. You don't need to know anything. You just need to flow. There's a big difference. You don't need to know. You need to flow. The waves in the ocean don't need to know anything. They just flow, right? If you're a wave in the ocean, you just flow. There's an unconscious flow. Intelligence. It's running your body automatically. It's keeping you alive automatically. You just need to get in flow with it. So Kundalini awakening. Now for me, myself, I left this dimension. That was in 2015. The only way I can explain it is that I was no longer a human being. I was a being, but I wasn't physical. I was made out of light, and I was in the cosmos. So not in Earth. In a completely different dimension, and I was made out of light. My hands, I could look at my hands, and it was just light everywhere. My whole body, I had a body made out of light. A light body. That's why I say I activate people's light body through Kundalini awakening. '28 stage, got your entire thing, good stuff. The breath is spirit, correct. Absolutely, godson. In Latin, spirit is spiritus. Spiritus translates to breathe or to blow in Latin. That's why it keeps you alive. Without it, you're dead, right? Nobody can stay alive in human form without breath. So it's common sense to connect with what keeps you alive. Every human being on this planet needs breath to stay alive. The trees need oxygen. My cat needs oxygen. Every animal needs oxygen. Now look at the way animals and plants are. They have the intelligence of God and the divine running through them. That's why they grow. You grow, your body grows naturally. Your body stays alive naturally. We are nature. We need to connect with our true nature. As I say, the schooling system fucks people up because, especially in the Western world, because everyone believes that they need to learn everything and learn all the details. Now, even on my Demigod's Awakening event on the weekend, I spoke about the science behind the third eye opening and Kundalini awakening. But I also explain at the same time, the science doesn't matter as long as you do the practice. Because you don't need to know about the third ventricle, the pituitary gland and the pineal gland. Really, you don't really need to know about the cerebral spine fluid for the Kundalini awakening. You don't really need to know. If you do the practice, it's going to happen anyway. But people are addicted to wanting to know. So I share the information, but at the same time, I say, don't get hooked up on the details. Like, God is not going to give you a test on the names of the chakras. The Manipura chakra, the Visuddha chakra, the Muladhara chakra. You don't need to know the names of the chakras. You just need to know how to activate them. Like, you're not going to get a fucking test. And you're going to fail it if you get the names wrong. You're not going to get a test on which glands need to be activated for your third eye to open. You just need to know the techniques how to do it. So people get too hooked up on the details, and they're always researching details, and they never get to the practice, and they waste their whole life gathering information, which is useless if you don't know what to do with it. I know there's millions of people on this world that have got the right information, but they're not doing the practice, so therefore they will never have the experience of enlightenment, of Kundalini awakening. They will never have the experience because they don't do the practice, because they're addicted to knowledge and information. That's the dysfunctional mind. All right. Hi, sir. Hi, Jay. I am Indian. So am I. Thank you very much. Well, I'm in an Indian form. My parents are Indian, but I'm actually born in England. But, you know, we put these labels on. I am this, I am that. But remember, you are not, in truth, like, you're not even a human being. You're in a form of a human being. The truth is, you're a light being having a human experience. So, you know, I say this to my clients all the time. We get hooked up on, I am this, I am a husband. My name is this, I am this body. Like, this body, this ain't me. This is a part of the illusion too. This is Maya, illusion. When you transcend the illusion and you get above the veil of illusion, Maya, you don't exist in human form. All your identity is gone. What you thought you were and what you believed you were is gone. It doesn't exist anymore. So enlightenment gives you the actual experience of that. So Kundalini awakening is not enlightenment itself, because I had the Kundalini awakening in 2015. My actual enlightenment didn't happen until beginning of 2021. So it was only the beginning of last year. And that's when I started the Mind of Matter, because God guided me to do this. Because you get a choice in enlightenment. You can just check out. You'll just disappear. But I've got family, kids. But there's a caveat. If you decide to stay in the human form, you have to serve God for the rest of your life. So I decided to do that. That's why I do what I do. Because I have 2 other businesses. I don't need another business. But what better business to have than to do God's work? So I do this until the day I die. Because I have to. And because I want to. And because I'm not separate from God, and God will always guide me. What's the difference between Chi and Prana? It's just different labels for life force energy. In this world, we get used to labels. So remember, like for example, God is called different things. In Sikhism, I'm born into Sikhism, call it Waheguru. In Islam, they call him Allah. In Christianity, Jesus Christ called him the Lord, my Father, right? So the labels don't matter. God doesn't actually have a label. And life force energy doesn't really have a label. But because we use language to learn, we put labels onto things. So prana is also life force energy. Chi is also life force energy. So they are life force energy. Both of them. So chi is out here. And it's flowing in and out of our body. So is prana. But what I tend to do is I label prana as the life force energy when I do breath work. And when I do Qigong, I call the life force energy Qi, but they are the same thing. It's all divine life force energy. So they're just labels, 2 different labels for the same thing. Because prana comes from India, Qi comes from China. So because they speak different languages, they have different labels, that's all. So like in yoga, the channels of energy, the tubes of energy, the channels which life force energy flows through is called nadis. But in China, where Qigong originates from, they're called meridians. But they're actually the same thing. Like the sacral chakra in yoga, which is connected to the sun, that's why it's called the solar plexus chakra. Sorry, there's a sacral chakra and a solar plexus chakra. Solar plexus chakra is called solar plexus, because it's connected to solar energy, the sun. The Manipura chakra. But that in Qigong is called the lower dantian. So different labels for the same thing. Now, because I've practiced yoga and practiced Qigong, I was able to see the similarities. But this is why you got to have an open mind. Like, I've respect all religions. I've learned from Christianity. I've learned from Hinduism. I've learned from Sikhism, because I'm born into Sikhism. I've learned from Islam. I've learned from Buddhism, Taoism, all the isms. But what I do is I look for the unifying theme between all of them, because I don't want to see separation. So the unifying theme is love. So there's only really one religion, love. Do you have a podcast? I have started a podcast actually. It's called Beyond Enlightenment, and I used to post up some of my lives here in audio format. I'm going to start doing it more when I'm guided to. It's on Spotify. The link is in my bio. It's called Beyond Enlightenment. So there's a few on there already, but I will be doing that more. But again, it's always, I don't really think, like, it's intuition, inner guidance. When I'm guided to, I'll do it. So, I have a Facebook page with nearly 102,000 followers. I have Instagram. I've started a TikTok because I was guided to do that now. So whatever God guides me to do, I do it. I don't really think. I just have to get out the way. That's the flow. That's the whole process, I'm active in this world, obviously, as a human being, as a father and a husband and an entrepreneur running 2 other businesses, but the stuff I've been doing, I've still got to live, still got to make a living. I've still got to be a father. Some people cut themselves off completely from who they used to be. But you can be Clark Kent and Superman at the same time. Superman isn't just Superman. I say that all the time. Spider-Man isn't just Spider-Man. He's Peter Parker and Spider-Man. So I can continue to play my other roles, but also be the demigod that I am. But I don't have to show up that way everywhere I go. Sometimes I have to bring it's all about fitting in, it's about fitting in. I'm not more special than anyone else or anything. I always say we're all equal. We're all waves in the ocean. No wave is better than the other wave. It's just some waves know who they truly are, and some waves don't. All right. Thank you very much for turning up, everyone. Much love. That was my live for today. Much love. Keep shining. And I just wanted to share that. That was my message for today. Keep connecting. And let's just listen to this song before I leave. My lives are always saved on my page. So let's surrender to God. Surrender to your intelligence. Let go of your need to know everything, your intellect. Let go of it. It all begins by letting go. This song is called I Surrender by Hillsong Worship. So as I say, surrender, man. Surrender to God, surrender to divine. Surrender to your higher self, surrender to your soul. Much love. Thank you very much for joining in. The live will be on the page.